everyone! So today's video is going to be all about how to stop worrying and live our lives to the fullest. Worrying and overthinking can make you unhappy and may even lead to mental breakdown if you don't deal with it on time. Make sure to watch till the end of the video because I have 10 tips coming your way on how to stop worrying and trust life. But before we start, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I talk about how you can find your passion and go after it at any age, how you can find balance even at the most difficult times in your life, and how you can be happy with the things and the people you already have surrounding you. So if you're interested, do make sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos that I upload 3 days a week. Now, let's get to today's topic. Number 1 is don't take life too seriously. If you want to be honest with yourself and really look at your surrounding, you'll be able to see that the world is actually ridiculous. It's full of people operating on autopilot and going through life mindlessly without even stopping for a second to question their environment. They're too busy trying to fit in and trying to look as normal as possible, even if it makes them deeply unhappy. A lot of the people that go through chronic depression worry themselves to death over things that don't even matter in the grand scheme of things. We worry about the silliest things. We worry about our image, we confuse money with happiness, we take our jobs way too seriously. We don't realize that if we were to drop dead today, there will be some other poor soul coming to replace us in a matter of hours. So, stop taking life so seriously and look at all the silliness that is around you. Number 2 is stop worrying and start thinking. What a lot of people don't realize is that when you worry, you're not thinking about the issue, you're thinking about the impact it has on you. So you're thinking, oh, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to be poor for the rest of my life, instead of saying, how can I make this work? Or you're telling yourself, I'll never be able to leave this job that's making me so miserable because then I'll not be able to eat. Instead of asking, what are my options and how can I make a living doing what I love doing? Or you may be saying that I'll never be able to get out of this situation, I'm going to be depressed and unhappy for the rest of my life. Instead of saying, okay, I'm depressed, I'm at my lowest, but how can I get out of this situation? How did other people overcome the same problem? Because believe it or not, no matter how special you may think you are, thousands, if not millions of people have gone through the same thing you're going through right now. So stop worrying and focus on the solution because everything has a solution. You just need to look at the right place. Number 3 is refrain from being the creator of your own fears and anxiety. So when you come across a challenge, stop treating it like it's the end of the world. It might actually be a blessing in disguise, as most great achievements, discoveries, and success originated from some kind of a problem that needed to be solved somehow. In other words, the existence of a problem was the reason why these people were able to achieve great things. So instead of fear and anxiety, embrace the challenge and see what you can bring to life that is much greater than the problem you had. And even if this was a failed attempt, you'll learn so much from having gone through that, and it will keep you from making the same mistakes and taking the same route that didn't work out in the past. But if you're worrying yourself sick about the possible negative outcomes or your failures, you're already sabotaging yourself from achieving great things because now you're wasting so much time on worry and stress. Number 4 is never stop looking for solutions. In the book The Alchemist, there's a story about a miner who gave up everything to go mining for emeralds. And after 5 years of going through hundreds of thousands of stones, he was then ready to give it all up. Angry and frustrated at his 5 fruitless years, he then picked up a stone and threw it on the side. But he had done so with such force that it came back to break another stone it fell on. And there, embedded in that stone, was the most beautiful emerald in the world. But if he hadn't picked that one stone before giving up completely, he would have never found his emerald. The moral of the story is never give up because you never know when and where you'll find your emerald. In your case, it might be success, health, happiness, or getting out of a bad situation. So don't give up because you never know how close you are to achieving what you want in life. Number 5 is give yourself a break. Every now and then, no matter how hard it is to get out of bed or how difficult it might be to motivate yourself to do anything, it really helps to go out there and re-energize yourself with new experiences. You can travel to a whole other place and spend some time in a new environment. You can invest on your mental and physical well-being. You can do this in many different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be you paying for the services. Even the simple act of going into nature more can mean a lot to your well-being. You can pick up a hobby or something you loved doing in the past you put aside for work. All these things can make you see the other side of life where worrying about everything isn't a priority. Number 6 is worry never solves anything. So like I said earlier, when you worry, you're thinking about the end result, the negative outcome that has not yet happened, instead of working on your actual problem right now. This means that no matter how miserable you're making yourself over a problem, you'll not be able to solve it unless you change the way you look at it. So if you're spending so much time overwhelming yourself with all the possible negative outcomes, you'll neither have the energy nor the time to work on it. Imagining the worst case scenario. Well, sometimes it helps to say what's the worst that could happen in some situations and then quickly move on. But if you're spending hours and hours in thinking of all the things that could go wrong, this will leave you utterly powerless and you'll never be able to solve anything like that. Number 7 is most things you worry about will never happen. So when you worry too much, your brain will then use its powerful creative nature and provide you with all the worst case scenarios and horrible endings that may never take place outside your own mind. Oftentimes when we look back and think of all the things that used to worry us to death, we may find some of them to be very silly and wonder why they were such a big deal back then. So if you're aware of this scenario, you should be able to tell what's going on right now as well. Maybe the things you can't stop thinking about will not even become an issue after a while. Maybe these fears have no foundation and you're just creating them in your own mind. So stop worrying about things and start focusing on the things you can control and improve at the moment. Number 8 is don't try to guess your future. So unless you're a wizard who can predict his future, or you're a clairvoyant who can tell his or her fate beyond any doubt, there is absolutely no proof of your fears materializing in the future. Now, you may be very sure of yourself and maybe even be arrogant to tell that something bad is going to happen to you in the future, because some people do that. They actually get angry when you tell them that it's going to be okay. So even if everything around you seems to be going wrong right now, you can only speculate and you can never say for sure because we've already established that you're not a wizard. So instead of sitting and waiting for your possible demise, see if there is something you can do right now to avoid that kind of a future. Number 9 is control your brain and keep it from filling in the blanks for you. So when you give your brain the green light to exercise all things negative, you'll get more than you bargained for. This is because your brain does not only think, it also has a creative power. So even if you don't experience these things on your outer world, you'll still live it inside, which is bad enough because the effect will be the same on you. You'd worry about it the same amount as you would if it actually happened. In other words, you're willingly putting yourself in a horrible situation that only exists in your brain and worrying about it as if it already happened. So control your brain by remembering at least once a day that it's powerful enough to create something that didn't exist before and trick you into worry and anxiety. Number 10 is embrace uncertainty. It's our nature. We want to control things. We want to control our future. We want to control other people's thoughts. We stay in our imaginary bubble of security so that we don't get hurt or feel bad. But all these are fake because you cannot control your future. You cannot police people's thoughts and what they say, and there is no such thing as security in the world. Change is the only constant and it will happen whether you're ready for it or not. You'll only put yourself in a confused state if you think that you can stop people and things from changing. You might be tempted to resist change because there is the uncertainty element in it, but the more you resist, the tougher you're going to find it to be alive. Because everyone will move forward and you'll hold on to a time that is outdated, worn out, and incompatible with the present moment. It's true that uncertainty can bring fear and doubt, but realizing that this could be a good thing and that it can bring new opportunities otherwise impossible in the past can give you a different mindset, allowing you to use every opportunity brought up by the change that you feared unreasonably. So that's it for today, guys. I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in another video where I talk about how to let go of your past in order to make room for the future, click somewhere here. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share your ideas, thoughts, experiences down in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe not to miss my other videos. Until next time.